This is why gaming's journalism is dying. Journalism in general, this happens a lot in, but games journalism especially. So one of the big issues, we've had many myriads of issues, people putting too much bias in their articles. Journalism, a lot of times for certain types of journalism especially, is no longer really a trusted source for many different reasons. There's all kinds of issues with journalism. One that is not really talked about much is the business side of journalism. Now, this is the type of thing that happens with many different companies of all kinds, but today it happened in journalism, in gaming journalism. When a large company buys up their smaller competitors and makes the entire industry weaker for it. We most recently saw this in gaming with the breakup of Embracer Group, where Embracer Group was this large conglomerate from Sweden, a gaming company from Sweden, which bought like, what is it? I think like 30 different game companies, and ended up, wasting their money and having a lot of big losses and ruining all kinds of franchises, including things like well-known ones like Deus Ex and many others. Like the list goes on. I covered that in a video quite a bit ago. About I think a few weeks ago about Embracer Group's big old breakup. One of the worst companies in gaming. And this is what happens when a large gaming company that eats up, or in this case, a gaming company that eats up smaller companies and competitors. What happens when it dies? It ruins the entire industry. Today, it happened with journalism, with gaming journalism. We all know IGN. IGN is one of the largest names in gaming journalism. And they're not, a completely positive name. Sometimes they have some good articles, sometimes they have some negative ones. But one thing that has stayed the same is that IGN wants to be the Microsoft or the Embracer Group of the gaming journalism world. They've bought up several different competitors in the past in order to grow their own market share and basically take out the competitors via money. And now they've done it again. Today, literally not today, actually, just a couple of days ago, they bought Eurogamer, GI, VG247, Rock, Paper, Shotgun, and other companies, all in one go. And there's four major gaming sites, and those four major gaming sites own several of these other smaller ones that I named. So everything from, Eurogamer, businessindustry.biz, which we just read an article from, by the way. Rock, Paper, Shotgun, VG247, Outside Xbox, Digital Foundry, Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, Time Extension, and more. They all got bought out by IGN. They will all be going under IGN. This is a very, very bad thing. We've already had a lack of nuanced voices in the video game industry, video game journalism industry. And now that problem is only going to get worse. We now have, I think, half of the gaming journalism companies that we used to have about a decade ago. Maybe the number is even worse than that. It's actually ridiculous how bad this problem has gotten. Now, one major thing to remember is, I've heard some outcries on Twitter, because I have been following the news on Twitter about this, but some people on Twitter was like, don't worry, I don't care, I'm just going to get my news from Asmongold, or from Bellular, or from, these other very trusted, independent, completely independent, YouTube creators and Twitch creators, of which now I'm one of them. I've been doing YouTube for about 6 months. I try to cover the news. I like to give my nuanced rants about any kind of situation in the game community as well. But here's the issue, guys. Here's the issue. Me, Asmongold, Bellular, and everyone else, Yongya and other many trusted and great sources, we're not actually journalists. This is not our job. I know I'm not a journalist. I know Asmongold's not a journalist. I don't think Bellular's a journalist. He has journalistic sources. He's probably one of the most official ones in our little sphere. But I don't think he's an actual journalist. And I definitely know Yongya is not an actual journalist either. And the list goes on for all of these people that report on the news. We do the best we can, but A, our scope is limited. And B, What I do and what many people do is we report on all of these news issues and articles by reading actual sourced articles. If gaming journalism dies and we no longer have actual source articles, we will no longer, as YouTubers and as Twitch creators and so on, have real information to give you guys. We're more disseminators of information. And any kind of content creator that acts like they do anything more than that without really having sources and sourcing their material is literally just lying to you, by the way. I will never pretend to know what I don't know. This is a huge problem. And we've seen this issue actually kill other journalistic sources before. Who here remembers the Escapist magazine? Escapist magazine is dead to the point that all of the original people like Yahtzee and all the great sources and great, content creators there that created the Escapist and made it what it was, they left and they created their own websites and their own this and their own that, but they had to start from scratch essentially. This is the other problem. And I think this problem will only get worse. And IGN has a propensity to already, drown out other sources and other discussion points by putting them in their own source, their own verbiage, their own thoughts, and putting it on every single one of their already owned sites. So you will basically hear an echo chamber of the same thing over and over and over again of whatever they feel. This problem will only get worse. And as AI takes over more, this is something that other game companies and game journalism companies have already talked about using. That's why I'm bringing it up. This will only make journalism go down further. So this is a huge issue because we literally depend on these types of real news sources to figure out what is going wrong with gaming and how we can fight against it. We never really would have known about this entire PSN Sony debacle if sources like The Verge, like Dexerto, like so on and so forth, like IGN even at some point, they covered this as well. If they hadn't covered this, they have the real sources. They're the real ones able to get the real information in the trenches from leaks, from this, from that, from their real in-depth information and real research background. I have a research background. That's how I'm able to give you guys such good information. But my research background is from cancer research. I don't do journalism. It's a completely different bag of eggs. I'm still able to give far better information than most other people because at least I'm able to do some form of research, but it's nowhere near the same level of an actual journalist, and I'll never pretend otherwise. I am very, very worried about the future because this will affect gaming as a whole. This will absolutely affect gaming journalism as a whole, and this will affect you as consumers, as gamers, as people who care about these very, very important subjects of all the games that we love as a whole as well. So I want to give my little bit of input. I think this is going to be a very, very big issue going forward. Kotaku is on death's door. They were just bought out. They fired a whole bunch of their editors and so on and so forth. And who knows what will happen in the future. I don't think it'll be any kind of good news at all. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We're going to have fewer good people like Paul Tassi covering news. We're going to have, Forbes. Forbes is one of the good examples. Forbes is a magazine that covers business. They do some gaming news. They have Paul Tassi, who covers a lot of gaming. They have Richard Schreier, who covers a lot of gaming. But that is only because Forbes, doesn't really care about it too much. And they haven't, they've kind of given a little bit of a leash for these two people to cover gaming news. We used to have like 50 more people of this level that used to cover gaming news in various other sites. All those sites have either shut down or been gobbled up by things like IGN. It's going to be a worse problem that gets worse as we go forth. I don't know what everyone else is thinking about this. I don't know if, Asmund or Bellular or anyone has covered this yet, but I certainly hope they do because they have, a lot more. I know Bellular literally knows a whole bunch of these journalists that are losing their jobs over the next few days. So hopefully we'll be able to find more then. I haven't really seen any real coverage of this online, and this also makes me a little bit more worried. This shows how echo chambery the gaming journalism world can be. And hopefully it gets better soon, but it doesn't look like it, guys. It doesn't look like it. Definitely look at this in the future. Definitely keep your eyes peeled because gaming journalism is one of the lifebloods of gaming. And it is one of the lifebloods of us having the ability to call out bad gaming companies for doing what they do and, releasing big news like the Blizzard scandal. The Blizzard scandal would have never been known by anyone until it had been leaked to the media. If it had never been leaked to the media, games journalism media, we never would have found out. And this problem never would have been fixed. That is yet another illustration of how important it is to have a strong, vibrant, and independent source of passionate games media members. But yeah, want to give the news. If you guys liked the video, give it a like, give it a sub, share it with your friends. I do post a new video every single morning on YouTube. And I put a lot of stuff on YouTube, and I'm not able to cover even remotely every single bit of news. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, guys. We'll see how it goes. It was definitely a less nice bit of news, but I wanted to make sure I got it out there to you guys. Because it is a very, very important one. There we go. There we go.